everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tough Talk. This will be Season 3, Episode 5, because we actually found out where we were, and are actually going in order. But anyways, I'm Viz.
I'm Sable.
And so this is where we chill out in the hot tub, as you can hear, because the jets are going rather brilliantly, massaging my back right now. And yeah, just talking about all things MSF and or whatever comes to our mind while we're in the conversation. So, we'll put down the jets and get to it, why don't we? There we go. So, yeah, this week in MSF, not a whole lot, to be honest. Danger Room came out. It finally came out.
Back, yeah, the new one, the X-Men version.
As we were talking about. Let's see, what else? I can't even remember what we were talking about. What might be there by the time we posted, or wherever that video is. We gotta go back and listen to our own.
It was, well, we were talking about 4th of July and whether or not, what you were drinking for 4th of July.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, somebody was drinking something. I can't remember who responded with that. They were drinking something. Lemonade, something.
All I know is that we got a lot of comments on the last one, and I did respond to them all, and I did read them, so thank you. But remembering things like that are not my strong suit.
I know, I just looked at them like half an hour ago.
Really?
Because I wanted to see if anybody had commented on the videos. I stalked your page just to see what people say.
Oh,
even on your Rage videos, I like to see what people comment.
Oh, yeah, well, I've got some feedbacks on my Rage video one, too. Well, not really Rage. It's just calling out exactly what it is. I'm not pissed about it.
Speaking your mind.
It is what it is. Like, they did it. They understand. They know where it came from. They know what the reality is. They just do it anyways. So, yeah, it's not really Rage. Like, I understand it's a game. They do what they're going to do. It's not like I have to like it.
Right.
So, but anyways, yeah, I've got some feedback on that. Just like little things. Fortunately, nobody's been like, well, why are you going to be yelling at them and being so mad? Like, they don't say stuff like that. It's like, you know, hey, why don't you show how to get to the cells? Or why don't you, like, leave screens up a little longer so I can keep track so I don't have to go back and scan back in your video to figure out what you're talking about? Or, you know, like, maybe if it was a little bit bigger in the background rather than being the small, like stuff like that. It's actually, like, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, that kind of stuff's kind of nice. So, not anybody questioning what I'm saying. I think it's because we all agree.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm saying in videos the things everybody else is thinking of when they log on to the game and are about to throw their phone.
We're all watching the same train wreck. It's just we all have different responses to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about train wreck as much as collapse of the railroad system. You know, it's going to happen over time. It's not like it's an inevitable thing that's going to come to an end right now, but it's...
Speaking of those kind of things...
Go for it.
One of the main thoroughfares in our area to get from the mainland, because we live next to a bay, to get to the other side of the bay, and the only way to get to a certain island in that bay is now being completely demolished.
What?
Because it has reached its lifespan and it is no longer up to safety standards.
No way.
So they have to figure out in the next year, with no money, because our county's broke,
Because it decided
how to
do
replace
an overpass.
this bridge.
Huh.
Yeah, the Samoa Bridge has reached its lifespan and now they're scrambling to figure out how to fix it and
That's crazy.
put a new one in. I just saw it on the news yesterday. I'm like, well, that's gonna suck. Like,
That's pretty nuts.
even if they only replace half of it, you're going to have to still drive a half an hour to go around to get to the other side of the bay if you go up and
Yeah, that
around.
would suck to live out in the Manila.
Yeah. So I'm like, speaking of those kinds of things, it's like you see this thing happening and you knew,
Waiting and waiting and
you know,
waiting.
20
When are you
years
guys gonna
ago
fix this?
that, hey, it was going to be reaching its age,
Yeah.
you know? You should have been planning for this. Like, nobody plans ahead. Like, even in
Yeah.
Scopely, you switch the conversion. Yeah, great. But you're giving no way for new players to get that new currency.
Right.
Yeah, it's great for the players to consolidate everything, to move it all into one thing, but long term,
Yeah.
like, you didn't think the long term, it hasn't even been 2 months and we're already scrambling to figure out how you're going to farm things.
No, they need to have a system that's actually like, you know, a concurrent system, month by month, with this thing happening at the end of the year with a big culmination everybody's looking forward to. You know, and then the systems inside themselves need to be events, blitzes, whatever they're going to do, need to be something that happens time after time. Not every time they're changing it, every time they're changing what you're using for them, every time they're changing the currency you're getting for them. So people don't know whether they should hoard stuff up or they should sell stuff off. It's always a FOMO type thing, which I get that makes money because people are going to spend, but for the people that just want to play the game, it's so fucking frustrating.
But with Blitz, there's zero reason to do anything
No
past the
reason.
milestone. So why are these whaley McCrackens getting 300 million points in the Blitz milestone to be #1 in a Ghost Blitz when they had the tune maxed out? They didn't need it. Milestones and chill, bitches.
Pretty much.
Milestones and chill.
Pretty much. I mean, there's
Like,
nothing extra. There's not even
why-
World Warrior
no,
points.
why
to
are
be
we
like,
even
hey, I'm on
getting
top of that.
just 25 shop credits? Not Intel, the legacy currency, whatever you
Yeah,
want to call
legacy
it, the
currency.
shop credits. 25 per Blitz.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Something.
It would let the newer players be able to get some currency that way if they really wanted to try hard into it, even though they have less Blitz teams, so they'd have to do it more
We
often.
get a wee bit of intel daily from Command Center and stuff, but really there's no place.
Yeah, shit. Like, say you had 20 teams because you're pretty new and you're having to do a 25 like currency per. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that's what? That's 500? That's 500 per rotation if you won every one. You do 8 rotations a day. That's 4,000 you'd be able to make a day. What's
You
that
won't
going to
even be able
do
to
for
farm a
them?
tune
That's not going to break
with the
anything.
price they cost.
That's not going to break nothing
No.
for newer players to be able to do that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong
And I
with
figured
that.
out buying the war attacks, war boosts, and the arena credits, the training mats in the arena store. That's all I've spent. And I've already spent, like I said, over 1 million currency because of how much that costs and how little we're getting back in return.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the Fantastic Four and all those things. They give 10,000 per node when you do those the first time through.
Yeah, I finished
the
all the
Juggernaut
events and all the
stuff.
campaigns and all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah,
I realized that the other day. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
there's
some of
a
them
way
do
to get
give.
those.
yeah.
I
That's
didn't
not
know
a
that was
meaningful
part
amount. For,
No, not sustainable unless they're doing an event like that every week, you know, and you have 8, 9,
Those are
10
many
nodes
ideas.
per, and you know what I mean? Like, say it's 10 nodes per, and it's 10,000 per, that gives you 100,000 of
Yeah.
those things every week.
There
Like,
was that one that
It's not
was giving like
horrible.
500 per whatever, that one event that you
Yeah.
could spend the currency on. But for me, it's buying training mats. You buy the training orb frags
Yeah.
or the gold orb frags.
yeah.
Focus on those nodes first.
But I mean, if you just look at it, we're at DD8 with Apoc, Saga, and Professor X. So that's really 10. And we're on year 7 of the game.
Yeah.
Why? Why would it be year 7 of the game? We're on DD7 now. Why wouldn't it be every year? That's the big thing.
With the spenders being bored and threatening to take their money and walk, they've had to speed up things
Yeah, it's
and
so
do
dumb.
things to cater to them.
Just do
and
things
give
at a yearly
bonuses.
clip, have things on a monthly clip, you know, like, it is, say you're going to release, well, we got 12 months, you're going to release 3 tunes a month to make teams, so, you know, you have, what is that, 36 tunes a year?
Yeah.
You know, plus reworking old ones to make teams, and then you're going to have your 37th and maybe 38th with the Legendary and 37th with the Dark Dimension. Like, what's the problem with doing that? You know what I mean? Like, that would be something everybody could look forward to.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it was happening. It was something you can plan on. You can strategize your account, your roster to. It'd make people feel better about things.
No, now you have 6 or 7 tunes in the store at once that you could core.
Completely mix
But then
things
they've
up all the
taken
time.
away your cores, and yeah. We're going to leave them longer to allow more time for people to core them, to get them. But you've taken away all of our cores. That was the big thing with upping the arena payout and giving more cores there.
Right.
You wanted us to have more ways. They just shoot themselves in the foot. It's like one dev comes in, no, that's too generous. We need to nickel and dime them. You've got to cut back. So then they cut back. And then the next dev, that dev gets fired because people get tired of him because he's an asshole. And then the next dev comes in and she says, no, we need to do this to be free to play. And people shut her down. No, because she's a woman. You know, because this day and age. You know?
Well, I mean, they're owned by a
then-
Saudi Arabian company, so yeah, it's a woman, you can't have that.
You know, then another person comes in. Oh, we can't listen to them because they're this.
Ah, you went they. Look at you, go male, female, they. I knew you'd do that. Look, good job. Good job.
You know,
Way to
this
go.
day and age is just like, what does it matter? They have a great idea. I don't care if they're a man, woman, or a dog. They came in with a great idea. Take
Oh,
it
come on,
from
that's
them.
rough.
I know. But I mean, Scrappy Doo gives some great ideas.
That's true. That's true. He's definitely barking up the right tree.
He's left some good comments.
He does. Yeah, I think he had 9 last time. Like something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, even time stamping those thing and everything.
Listen to the whole thing.
Made me had to go back and listen to the video just to get this reference. I like it. I like it. Give me some work. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'll try to tone down the nagginess, but sometimes this is the only way to let things out, and then you let it out and you forget about it and you move on. Even if nobody ever listens to you.
Which is a lot of the reason why I don't remember what the comments are, because it's just one of those things. Like, you save things, you let it go, it's in the video, you know, I'm done and over with because I already got it out of my system, and then you comment, I'm like, wait, what was I talking about?
Right.
Oh, I gotta go back and listen. Thank you for the timestamp. Cool.
But I gotta cut down the nagginess, because a lot of these people have naggy wives at home. They don't want to listen to another naggy woman.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. You're just telling how it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, but...
You already got past the one thing of worrying about me. Like, just stop getting worried about you now.
I know.
Just tell the truth and go forward and don't worry about it.
We were just having this conversation because we got into an argument with the daughter's boyfriend, and he has yet to come over and apologize. He wants us, and she wants us to go over to their house for dinner. I'm like, no, I'm tired of being the one that always gives in and goes and does things for people. And no, you need to come to me and apologize and sit down and have a civil conversation with me. Yeah. I'm not coming to you anymore. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done being taken advantage of by somebody saying something on a stream and being like, oh, I can do that. Going and making it for him, sending it to him, and occasionally getting a thank you. If anything at all.
If anything at all.
All right, well then. If you want something, come to me and ask.
You rely on third-party people to say, hey, did so-and-so do this for you? No, yeah, they did.
I'm always that way. You know, people come over and they'll say something like...
No, you give too much credit to other people or things.
But they come over and they say something like, oh, I could really use this, or I saw something cool like this, and so I'll go, and being the great person I am, I'll make it and go, here you go. Like... Yeah. Yeah. So think of this. Here's an example for you guys.
So say you go to a store, right? You go to a store, you buy action figures, right? You take those action figures home, you make a little city out of the action figures, you put them all in a diorama, yeah? And you start videotaping the diorama and moving them around and doing stop motion stuff and like doing things to them. Do you expect the credit to go back to the people who made the action figures? Did they have the idea of the diorama and then making a little story about it? No. I know legal-wise that bullshit needs to happen because everybody wants their 2 cents, literally, in something. But the person that came up with the idea to make stop motion, that's the one that gets the credit for it. It's their idea, they went forward. That's kind of stuff you do. And every time that you bring photos and you Photoshop them and you make cool things out of them and put it where somebody can use them, you're always trying to give credit to, like, oh, it was just a picture that I... No, fuck that. No, you grabbed it, you manipulated it, you made it the way it was, you put it up there so it made sense for somebody to be able to use for something that they needed for themselves.
Yeah, I bring other people's visions to life on occasion.
That's you. That's not the fucking picture. The picture would have been out on the interweb for nobody to use ever. You know what I mean? But you brought it to light and you made it something cool. And so that's you. That's not of the picture. Stop trying to give credit to the people that did the original. Like, fuck that. You made it. Yeah. People take picture of nature all the time, and they don't credit the fucking tree. They get credit for the picture.
Yeah, but I was never looking for the credit or the...
No, I know, but it's not that. When you come across something that's really cool, just be like, yeah, I made that. They'll be like, no, it was just a picture. It was just whatever. No, I made that. That was cool.
It is still cool seeing some of the stuff I've made on people's streams and in their videos, and still let people get enjoyment and use out of it.
You're a talented lady. You need to just realize that. Move forward.
I do miss making the taco happy hour opening, though, because that was a lot of fun. But hey, my search engines are back to normal now. I no longer have porn popping up every time I log on to YouTube or anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no longer those suggestive images constantly flooding in places or inappropriate songs about toilets and bathrooms.
Even though they're fun.
I know, but...
Even though they're fun, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now I've just got a bunch of whips and chains all over my YouTube feed.
Wait, why is that?
All my crochet videos.
Oh, okay, damn. All right. I was going to get a surprise for anniversary here in a couple weeks.
Which is the term for works in progress.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh.
And chains is how you make chains.
Well, damn. I mean, anniversary's what, 2 weeks away? I was kind of hoping maybe something like that.
Yeah, no. Okay, the chains, Mr. Christian.
Ah, fucking A.
You may have the same name, but, you know.
But you could be my Anastasia. Or I could be your Christian. Fuck, I don't care. I'd go that way. That's fine with me. Leather suit, high heels. I'm down. Dominate me. Anyways, speaking of dominating, I finally got through Danger Room with all but one account on the difficulty 10. I even got through my beginner account. But for some reason, my junior account, and I got through with your account.
You did,
You're
yeah.
welcome. But my junior account can't do it. I cannot get the boost.
Just fine. I was working my way up, and then I got stuck on level 7 because I didn't want to rent the tunes, because I didn't realize the rental tunes are broken. They're more powerful than your own tunes this time around.
There are. I have a 3-diamond Old Man Logan maxed out, except for year 20. I'm at 19, and the rental tune puts mine to shame.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. Him and X23.
Him and X23. That's the way to go. I don't think there's anything else you should use. Yeah, some other stuff works, but you have to have the right boons.
Yeah. And I was using Gene and Old Man Logan on my first run through and kept getting all those abilities cost less, bleed stuff, and that crap, and just obliterate it. So I'm like, oh, I can do this the next run and do it at a higher difficulty. Then none of the boons would work. Nothing was there. I had one that had the same boons. 2 of them were the same exact boon, and the third one was different. I'm like, well, that's not helpful.
Yep. The way to do is X23 and OML, and you look for everything that says bleed and everything that says reduce their speed or don't allow them to get speed. And if you go with that, you're fine. If you don't get any of those, you're fucked. Just start over.
Yeah.
If you get through, like, say 5, and go to every blue store, go to every purple store, and don't worry about the epic battles, because they're not a necessity. Just use the basic battles. Go to every blue and every purple. And if it's an elite or a heal, go to the heal and just buy the heals and call it good. Because, I mean, honestly, if you get to 5 of those stores or shops in a row, and you don't have anything that either A, stops them from getting speed, B, gives you speed on spawn, whether it's via bleeds or something else, or C, gives them bleeds in either when you do a crit or just on spawn, the one that gives them all bleeds on spawn, then you might as well just stop and start over. Because you're not going to make it through. That Professor X at the end, he stops your speed. You can't gain speed bar and he can't be reduced until he takes a turn. So he's going to take a turn. Well, how's the way to beat him then? Well, you got to get through the 2 gladiators and then the 2 more that drop after that. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, you got to do that by doing a shit ton of damage. And how are you going to do damage? Well, you got to do damage on your own, whether it's the basic ability that progresses through and you're only using basics for X23 and OML, and the other tunes that you get, those are the ones that you're doing the other abilities with. That's one way to do it. Or by the bleeds. If you give them all bleeds and they take a turn and they bleed out, then you're golden. So bleeds and speed, that's what you're looking for. It just sucks
to get all that way and then realize, oh crud, you've gotten the wrong boons. Then you got to restart.
Yeah, the defense down, the offense up, none of that stuff really makes a difference.
Yeah, it's just so RNG dependent. And then the tunes you get in the rental store, I was never getting any good tunes.
Nope.
I'm like, what the hell do I want with Dazzler? No,
thank you. Your backups want to be Storm, Beast, and
I think I saw those 2 once.
And maybe Havoc. Havoc's just a glass cannon. He's going to die in the second to last or last one anyways. So he's a good sacrificial lamb, I guess. But Polaris would be after Havoc, I think, because of her AoE being unavoidable.
And but she's got to get a turn. Aren't the same for everyone. Because I was talking about Deadpool. He revived every single time I killed him. Until the time I waited and killed everyone else first and then killed him and then he insta-died.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the up ability.
But then somebody else was like, oh, I never ran into a Deadpool. Like,
well, you could have skipped that battle.
Yeah, that's true. If it was on one of the selected things.
Because those are random. They pop up. You can do an elite or that battle.
But yeah, it was so stupid. I'm like, why is he constantly reviving? There's no way he's going to revive. There's no Deathpool. There's nobody else. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then kill everyone else. Kill him. He doesn't revive. I'm like, that is so stupid. That they have these random buffs on their end that we don't even know.
They all get the other X's types. So that's the thing.
How do
So
we
the
know?
other mutants all get the other X's types. Well, Deadpool has X Force in
Yeah.
his kit, and you get a revive chance per X Force as well. So they're all X Force, and it's a 25%, I believe, revive chance. All he's got to have is 3 other allies, and he's got a 100% revive chance.
Yeah.
Because his base is 25.
There's a lot of things on the back end that need to be fixed before they keep adding this kind of content to the game.
I don't think this one was nearly as hard as the last one.
No.
The last one I didn't complete with every account. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, I gave up. I got tired of it. It's boring.
I'm not doing it over and over again. The first one was the best way. Being able to do it and then add your score to
Yeah.
your previous score was perfect.
So if
I like
you wanted
that.
to one and done it, you could one
I
and
can,
done it.
yeah, I
If you
can go to
wanted slow
difficulty
roll,
10
slow
and I
roll.
can move up that leaderboard and I can get there that way, or I can do the little one
Mhm.
and just add that score to that score and I get through the milestones and I'm good.
Right? And if you wanted to limit it, put brackets. People
Yeah.
with 10 million and above get this.
Yeah.
People with 10 to 5 get this. Then
Well,
you
what
could
that
just
first
come
way
in.
also allowed to do is the people that were that mid TCP, like say 65, and they had most of the characters, and they wanted to try hard to get in that top 100
Yeah.
or whatever of the leaderboards, they could time after time after
Yeah.
time after time go through and add their score to it and get up there with those big boys that just did it a few times.
Yeah.
Or it lets those big whaley McCrackens go through and auto through everything and be like, I'm a big boy, look at me, and get a big score by doing the same thing time after time
Mhm.
after time. And making an ungodly score. And getting that, you know, like, look at me, I'm at the top. So, I mean, it works all those
Yeah.
ways. Why not do it that way?
Because they can't even figure out how to put ISO on Dark Phoenix, for Christ's sake.
You wouldn't have dark
Yeah,
Phoenix.
summons should have ISO. But anyway, there's bugs. Like Captain Britain, he stops speed. So if you use Captain Britain with APOC, your own team can't gain speed. So your own APOC doesn't get as immediate.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never
Yeah.
came into that. Oh, that's because I don't use Illuminati.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, did you see my post the other day? He used Illuminati.
But it's stupid. Same with when, in the beginning when Null came out, I think they finally fixed that. So when you use Null, he
Your
doesn't
own
affect
team
your own
doesn't,
APOC.
yeah.
But, and some of them, some passives stay past death, like Nobu.
Yep.
And Knowles stays past. So even if
The
you kill
empowered.
their Knoll, you
Yep.
can't gain empowered.
Right. Because it's a
Like-
board state effect rather than them. Because it'll say,
We need a breakdown.
it'll
A
say
Google
like,
Sheet.
on spawn, you know, blah, 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 this character doesn't allow blink. That's fine. But if it's a board stated effect, where it's just saying characters can't, then that's something that stays. If it says that, you know, Deadpool doesn't allow,
Yeah, but it should say characters can't while this tune is on the board.
it does.
So when I kill him, he's gone, he's no longer on the board,
It
I
does.
should get empowered.
Right, exactly. Well, your next ult, you would be able to get
Yeah,
empowered
I
if that
usually
was the
save
case.
my ult until he's dead.
But that's not the case with this ability. It doesn't say if Noel is present.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It should.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
But we need a breakdown of whose abilities stay past, whose abilities don't. And there's no way of really knowing and testing unless you want to battle.
I just told you what it was. Those are the differences.
Yeah, but
You just
some
gotta
of
go
them
through and
don't.
read all the kits, which is super annoying.
Yeah, with over 300 tunes. No, thank you.
Yeah, there's a keyword that says if this character, then it's gonna be until the character goes away. But if it just says that, you know, like, oh, for instance, Blade. He says characters, you know, that die from this attack, they can't be revived.
Yeah.
Right? So that straight says this character makes it so it's anti-revive. That's the same kind of thing with the board state. That's just the last one I looked at, so it's the last one I have in my mind.
Which sometimes you can get around. You used to be able to get around because you would go to revive, they wouldn't revive, and then you would revive, and then somebody would come back.
Because
Or something
some
like
tunes
that.
say I think it's Rhino. It says like on spawn, or maybe it's Shocker that says on spawn Sinister Six get offense, a % offense, and so they keep that even after he's dead, but he does it when he's on spawn. Versus
Yeah, same with Nobu and the revive.
versus something that just says that, you know, rather than on spawn, it just says, you know, like allies get this. So they would be doing it just while they're alive.
It'd just be nice for consistency without having to do a gargantuan amount of research.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And now adding new things like silence, how do we know how that's going to interfere with other battlefield effects?
They don't even know.
Yeah, they haven't been
They don't
testing.
They don't know how that reacts with Bullseye.
right?
You know what I mean?
Minerva, or
Yeah,
who the fuck
or
knows?
Psylocke.
Any of the
Can
hand
Psylocke
weapons.
remove it, or like strip it and put it all on one person? Like, they don't know. They have
And
no
Sinister.
idea.
If I clone him with Sinister, now I get to use the silence, or does he not have access to silence because he's a clone?
That would be a
What's his
good
clone
one.
gonna
I would
get?
think his clone would say all the things unless, because like I
They
said,
just
there's
get
Rogue
boards.
says that you can't ult.
Yeah.
If she's on the board, that clones can't ult. Clones a horseman. So, like, if it said something like that, it'd be different. But otherwise, no, they're good to go. They can do it just as normal. They're just at a reduced power.
Yeah.
Which you found that out in CRISPR.
Yeah, way reduced power.
And just like the clones did in that danger room, I was able to get the Sinister boon.
Oh yeah.
They just died. My Professor X just got walloped in that final node.
There were a couple of them that clone on.
I mean, he was
basic.
fodder.
Yeah, I was constantly cloning people on basic.
Yeah, he was fodder, but I mean, he died within 3 hits.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, really nothing to like say complain about with the game. It's just same old
Arena's not
stuff.
holding now. Now that people know you've got to spend those credits, everybody's battling to get in the top 10. Because now that there's a reward that, now we're going to have a store to spend those things in?
And that's what you're saying, but this is the first time I've stayed in the top 50 for more than a week in forever.
I'm one with a bunch of Whaley McCrackens and the top alliances.
No, I know, I got you, but I'm just saying, like, mine's an early shard as well.
Yeah.
But it's just that, I got
You may not have gotten the memo.
most def ice leaves in mine, but I'm staying in the top 50, and I'm doing very minimal attacks.
No, I got to stay in the top 20.
Well, that's what you
I
think.
dropped down to 25 yesterday, and I've battled my way back up to 16. I was in 7th place.
But what I'm saying is, the places are, I don't know what the word is, but it's the same in my top 50 as it would be at your top 20. I know there's less, but it's the same thing. If they were pushing, you would be knocked out of whatever you are.
Yeah.
It would be incrementally more as you went up than it was when you're back.
Well, it's because...
but if I'm in 40, you would think I'd go to 60, but I'm not. I'm staying in the top 50, whereas if you were in 5, you would go to 15. You know what I mean?
I've already lost 5 of my big top guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're in the top 100.
My last one is sitting at 100 now. He's about to finally get the boot out of the top 100.
Yeah, because they stopped playing.
But yeah, I've been counting and keeping track of my arena shard, and it's like, wow, that's not good. Especially when some of these in Legion stopped playing.
Yeah.
Shoot, even T-Dub's already done and stopped.
That was hella funny to see, dude. 23 days ago, it's his last day playing. I'm like, oh, say love you, motherfucker.
You went into the tournament, you bought your way in there,
That was
and
fun.
you didn't even last, 3 months?
Yeah, right.
Like, gee, I wonder why. You burnt yourself out.
Hey, those dum-dums keep on picking like people like this to be envoys. That's what they get.
Yeah, they picked the money
They pick the
hungry.
Boylons,
I
they
can't
pick
make
the
any money on
T-Dubs,
this
they
game.
pick,
I gotta go somewhere else.
F off, dude.
Hold on,
Get out of here.
I can't make money on this. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna come back. Okay, you can come right back into the envoy program.
I mean, you grab Taco, and Taco's one that's going to speak his mind. You grab Taco, he dips out because he spoke his mind. He's like, what is this shit? Why are you doing that? And they crap back, and they're trying to crack back and side with the other guy. And he's like, I'm out. Later.
Yeah.
Peace.
Just high school bullies.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not that way. If I'm going to be in it, I'm going to be in it to win it. I ain't one of those people to give up.
It's funny. I had the comment the other day. It must be nice living off of someone else's money. But theoretically, we all live off of someone else's money. But there are those that play video games for a living and live off of donations that people give them. I'm like, there are people dying in this world right now who can't afford to bury their loved ones right now.
Yeah.
And you want me to subscribe and give you money for playing a video game?
I could not believe it cost $10,000 to cremate somebody. That's
$3,500 to do an autopsy.
$3,500 for an autopsy if they died of like crazy complications.
Unattended death, dies at home. They want $35,000 to prove it was a heart attack. That the hospital sent him home having a heart attack and he died when he walked in the door.
And the prices of that you can't, like, we can't just be like, here's money to help you. Because it's too much. It's not going to make a dent.
No.
And then you just seem like if you're going to give something, it's needless.
Yeah.
You would need 100 people to do the same in order to actually help. And so your help is pointless. And I know if 100 people didn't think that way, you would get things done. But
it's just
try to find 100
weird
people.
that mentality that those same 100 people would more than willing give $20, $30 to some jackass playing a video game so that he can buy the newest tune,
Yeah.
so we can see what he does, versus
Right.
helping a person in need.
Right.
Buying
right.
a
I get
meal
that.
for a stranger.
I get that.
Like, that's the weird mentality we live in, and it's just so backwards right now.
Yeah, that instant gratification of somebody, or not even saying thank you,
Yeah.
but using what you've given them to do something
Yeah.
on a TV versus the all-time gratitude for helping somebody out for something.
Right?
Is that's not something the new millennium wants to do. They want that instant thank you, put your name in lights,
Yes.
boom, you're there.
Yeah. They want the instant gratification of, oh my gosh, my video got 1,000 views. No.
I want that.
I gave one of my, I had like 600 on one of them, I thought.
I want that. I want 1,000 views.
But
That'd
one
be
of the
cool.
people that came to our son's engagement party 2 days ago, yesterday, I don't even fucking remember the day.
2 days ago.
Friday. I was showing her my craft room, and she absolutely loved it, and saw a scarf I had made that was in the donation pile because it's going to go to the church. And she's like, oh my God, this is my favorite color. I love it. So I gave it to her.
Right.
Like, and the smile on her face, and then later on her fiance sends me a picture of her at sunset last night,
Oh, really?
sitting on the deck.
Oh, nice.
Just the smile on her face and the glow in her eyes. I'm like, I made someone happy. That's all the justification. That's all the gratitude
That's all you need.
I need.
That's life.
Seeing
that's what life
smiles
should
on
be.
people's face.
Right. That's what
Not,
we do
oh, I don't
needs.
have time for you. Go to someone else.
So, like, honestly, the only reason why I want to get eventually monetized for the YouTube videos is so that I can do more to give back to the community, to give back to people that help me out by watching this stuff, by people that help out with, inside the Alliance. For when one of our Alliance mates is in need and can't buy groceries and be able to send them $50 is,
Right?
you know what I mean? That helps.
Unemployed, on disability, scraping by, like, hey, here you go.
It helps, like I feel like it got kind of used a little bit in the past by somebody whose place set on fire and things like that, and I send them money and they're like, hey, can I get some more? I'm like, no, you're not going to get any more. That's what I got you. That feels kind of weird, but like
That's not good enough. I want more. Well,
the beginning, being able to help somebody is what I want to be able to do, and if I can get funds to be able to put that somewhere where I could do that and not feel like I'm hindering my own family and my own situation, it makes it even better.
yeah. And that's why with this, our son is getting married at a church from a family friend. He's giving us the church for free, so I'm like, I'll crochet a bunch of blankets for the old ladies and the kids. They have a playroom for the kids.
Right.
With a bunch of yarns that I have no idea what to do with anyway.
Yeah.
Some of them are coming out pretty amazing. I'm like, wow, that's kind of selfish. I should keep this, but I'm not. They're in the donation box. They're going to get donated to the church, and, if a little old lady stays warm this winter and it puts a smile on her face, then I've bettered this world one crochet stitch at a time.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
One person tried
our
to help.
son went to the 4th of July market, and some of the prices, I'm like, yeah, $85 is not bad for a crocheted Deadpool doll. It's really cool, except too rich for my blood because it probably cost her less than $20 to make. And even the time it took her to make was probably less than 5 hours. Yet, even $10 an hour, that's $50. So really, theoretically, I guess technically it would have cost her like $70 with time and supplies. And she wanted 15 more than that. It's still like, I'm like,
It's
why
pretty
not
crazy.
just sell it for 20?
Yeah.
My time is just my time. I sit on my ass all day anyway.
Yeah.
Why do I calculate how much time I spend on something to charge somebody?
Well, you got this game now, like our tunes are $50 a piece. They used to be 25. And what has changed? There's nothing that's
Nothing. It's
changed.
still digital pixels.
It's still a digital pixel.
You're probably paying less employees because now there's more AI involved.
Right. Yeah.
Like even Microsoft just fired 9,000 people.
But the machines we need to make that work easier cost this much.
Yeah, because of tariffs.
Because of tariffs.
These machines we bought 10 years ago,
Yeah.
tariffs are now involved, and
Right.
well, we need to up our prices.
Everybody's got to have a reason, But it's like the magic cards. They cost the same amount of money to print every single card. Why is it that the packs in Tolarian Academy, this crazy guy that goes over things like that, he was releasing, he was going over opening a Final Fantasy bundle, which is the old fat packs are not called bundles. He was opening one last night. He was talking over it as he was opening it. And he was talking about the modern masters, the way they used to be, $9.99 a pack, $6.99 a pack, but stores were selling them for $10 a pack. So Wizards got wind of that they were selling out at $10 a pack when their market was at $6.99. So let's put them at 10. Well, then when they sold them at 10, they were selling out at $15 a pack.
Yep.
So they got a wind of that. They're like, oh, they're selling at 15. So now the next set comes out and it's $15 a pack.
Yep.
So now they're selling at $15
They
a
need
pack.
to front load their costs.
They're at $20 a pack.
Yep.
So they change it to 20. Now we're at $25 a pack for those special packs. They're not called Modern Masters, it's called collector boosters now. But it's the same thing. And it's just so crazy. It costs them the same amount to print the same things. They just do it in more different designs now, but it's all costs the same. There's no difference in that. They're printing even less because that makes them more scarce and more valuable.
Well, they got
so they're actually
artists a pretty penny.
They're probably making or producing less now than they were before because they found this, in between. Okay, this was producing too many. This was producing too little. Let's find that. So they're probably right there in that middle of that heaven spot where they're producing less than they were at the time, where they were charging way less than they are now. Yeah. And it's insane to me that people do that and take advantage of other people. I understand supply and demand. I understand economics. I get those types of things. I know how they work. But the greed factor is way further
You mean Bezos, who can
complicated.
afford a $500 million yacht and a $20 million wedding, but yet doesn't even pay his employees livable wage? Pays less tax than his employees?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wrong?
And why he doesn't give, hey, if you're getting married, use my yacht to his employees. Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't you?
A week paid vacation for getting married or having
This is the
something.
reason, like we've said before, the reason why we're never going to come into money, because we would use it for other people. Heaven forbid we use it to help other people. Give it to all these selfish people.
Blackstone, the company that we own a grill of, and now I'm kind of disappointed we have the grill, owns 68 million? Some ungodly amount of homes. They use them as tax shelters and tax write-offs because they're sitting vacant.
Yeah.
They don't sell them. They don't rent them.
Right.
These are homes that homeless families could be living in, renting.
Yep.
But nobody wants to help their neighbor because of they're going to take advantage of me. They're on drugs. They're alcoholics.
The sad part is probably 20% of them would.
Yep.
And that's the saddest
part. There'll be an Allen like 2.5 men.
Yeah, find your Allens, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to be a hard ass when you do things like that. You have to have expectations, and you have to have a write-up, and you have to have a contract, and if they go against it, you have to have hard evidence. Otherwise, yeah, you're screwed in the long run. And it sucks, because if you are a nice person, that's what happens. You get screwed over by these greedy,
all these squatters
selfish
that come
assholes.
in and take over things, and
it's just a crazy world that there's this circle of life that is greed and taking versus happiness and helping. Like, I don't understand why we're not going the other way. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I guess my greed and my selfishness is I want everybody in our alliances so I can try to help everybody out. That would be my selfish thing. I want to buy a complex and have all my friends and family live in one space so I can make sure they're all taken care of. That would be my greed. That's me. But it's to the benefit of other people. Mm-hmm. And I know in some people's eyes that's a little bit of communism or whatever. But still, I mean it might be, but it's not out of a hateful way. It's out of a helpful way.
I have a couple of dozen blueberries. I'll trade you for a couple of eggs because I'm baking a cake, but I don't need the blueberries.
Yeah, right.
I need some sugar. Can I borrow some sugar? I got butter.
Yeah, I'm curious, people, when is the last time you went next door to borrow a cup of sugar? Because I know that it was maybe when I was 16 years old.
Right? Nope, I'll just go to the store.
No, I take that back. Because when we lived in the mobile homes, that was probably the most pleasant place we lived.
Yeah,
I was able to go next door to borrow sugar, salt, stuff like that, but they came to us to help, ask for help with certain things too. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit more of like a commune type setting, I guess, But there was some helpful there because we were just so close. Everybody knew everybody was having a hard time, so we all had each other's back. Mm-hmm. Earthquakes happened, power outages happened. We were going house to house to make sure the older people were okay, checking everybody's gas lines and water lines, and yeah, I mean that was a community. It's too bad. The owners have said mobile home lot were dirty, scummy people that
flew in on their private jet every
plane.
weekend to check on the place. Yeah, that guy.
But I mean, the community itself was pretty cool.
Refused to let us sell our mobile home for
Yeah.
over a year, and at that point he was like, "Oh well, it's been vacant for a year, so legally we can own it now." Yeah, because that was in the contract.
Yeah.
It was
crazy.
like 2 weeks away from them being able to just flat out take it from us, not even have to pay off our mortgage before they finally approved somebody and we were able to sell it at a loss. But yeah, don't ever buy in a mobile home park.
Well, I wouldn't say don't ever buy. You gotta know the people that are in charge of it first, and then cross your fingers they don't sell it.
Right. Become scumbags.
Yeah, and then upping the space rent every year.
Spending $650 is about what it is now, because it's like $550 when we moved out.
Yeah, it was $250 when we moved in and $550 when we moved out, and we were there, what, 7 years?
Something like that. Yeah, it went up $50 to $100 a year.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, but water. We need this. We live off of a well. Why are we paying?
Yeah,
for
because
water?
what they said was at first is we were paying for our water how many units we used of water, and they would add that to the space rent, and then they combined the two together and did an overall how much each person used and made an average and put it in the bill, and then that's what they were saying the billing was going up because of the fact the water was being used more.
But it's a well, so I don't know.
Water sewage.
Whatever.
I mean, it's not infinite supply, I don't think. I mean, unless it's actually coming from the bay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows?
It's crappy water.
Yeah, it need to be boiled or filtered, that's for sure.
But anyway, yeah, it's just, yeah.
That was a tangent.
I know, but then on top of that, you're paying mortgage, so it's really no less than paying for a normal home on land that you could then do whatever you want to. You don't have to ask permission to paint. You don't have to ask permission if something's broken and needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But yes, you still had to do that even though you owned the trailer. If I wanted to paint it or stain the fence.
On the outside.
Yeah, anything had to be approved by them.
Yeah.
Now I've repainted our house I don't know how many times because I decided, hey, I'm going to paint it this color now.
Too many.
But now I'm happy with it. It's good.
Sure.
Gunmetal gray is fine for now.
Okay, what's the stop point in that? Can you guys put that in the comments, please?
Hold me to that.
Yeah.
Next summer when I decide, hey.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really, like I said, not problems really so much with the game. It's just more so the way that we feel about how they're treating the players. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. It's just kind of like the way it is. So suck it up and deal with it, I suppose.
It's just sad to see because if that's the way they treat us, as like how do they treat regular people in their everyday lives? What kind of people are these?
Right.
If they do this over a video game.
Yeah. I mean, you look at when these people come on, like what their houses look like and stuff. They're not hurting.
No. Like I said, you're living off other people's money.
Yeah.
You're not really doing anything.
Yeah.
I am sorry, but this is not a job. This is not that difficult. It
Yeah.
take you a couple hours a day to do what you do.
Yeah, I love that they gave
Nothing
the
that deserves $1 million a year.
things to do giveaways with.
I haven't seen one do a giveaway yet. I think Bendy might be the only one I've actually seen do a giveaway.
Yeah,
and Dorky did one. He had the wheel going, but that was months and months ago.
But still, to give them to do things to do giveaways, you're already making money off the game. Do your own giveaway.
And
Why do you need them to give you
that and
stuff?
giving it to Alliance mates.
Or, random spin, quote unquote.
Right. We know how those work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. The whole world is crazy overall, but I think we're all a little
We are
crazy.
living in some really crazy times. I mean, and especially our generation, because we grew up in a time where you had to be attached to the wall with a phone, to now we have a phone the size of a cigarette.
And I got inmates walking around with iPads.
Yeah. And they have access to Xbox and PlayStation.
Xbox and PlayStation.
Nintendo, they'll probably get a Nintendo Switch before us.
Well, they have a Switch, not two, but they have a Switch.
Like,
yeah.
They have VR. They have,
that's crazy.
Free educations, free college.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just...
They're all accurate statements.
Because you can't even use the word punishment anymore.
Nope, it's consequence for actions.
It is a punishment. Maybe if you went back to saying you're going to get punished, people would be like, oh, I shouldn't do that.
Well,
consequence? Oh, that's nothing.
What they say is that when you say somebody's going to be punished, they want to rebel more. So this makes them in more of a calm, easy state by saying it's a consequence for what you did.
So then when they see the consequence, then they explode like, what do you mean? I wasn't aware I was going to get punished for this. Punishment and consequence are the same word, moron. Learn.
It's wording. It's wording. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when I used to work at the school, we'd have kids trash the place, throwing trash everywhere, and then when they were forced to pick it up, not forced, but told, hey, you need to pick it up. Well, you can't punish them. They can't pick that up. They're the ones that did it.
Yeah.
Why should I have to? I didn't make the mess. You made the mess. You clean that shit up.
Yep.
But kids today, they're like, meh, not my problem. Somebody else will take care of it.
John Morgan, rest his soul. He was a yard duty monitor when I was at Marshall, and then he became a CO, and I was his supervisor as a CO, even though he was 20 years older than me. When I was a yard duty monitor, he would take a kid by the back of the jacket and take him out to the field to pick up the wrappers that they would drop. They'd drop things at lunch. Get out here and pick up your trash.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an option. You didn't have an option to say no.
Grab
It was
them
like,
by the hand,
you're coming with me,
there.
and if they decided to flinch even a little bit, he's snatching you up out your jacket and taking you out there. You can't do that anymore. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy.
You can't even look at a kid weird because, oh my God, they looked at me wrong. Oh, they did this wrong. And now you've traumatized that kid, and now you've got to go to sensitivity training, and the kid's laughing up his ass because he gets a popsicle and an iPad in the office and doesn't even have to do his work for the day.
We've had our kids come back and say some crazy things that have happened in their school, and we're probably 70-30 on the saying you deserved or you're misunderstanding what happened to, yeah, that person's a perv, or yeah, they did the wrong thing, you have every right to feel that way.
Yeah.
Because not every instance is something that's that way, but they got to be weighed too. You can't just automatically be like, that's wrong because it's my kid.
And in this day and age, you're automatically believing the victim.
Right.
Most of them are lying, fabricating for their 2 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
For their money.
Because
they're greedy.
Right. Yeah.
And then when, like P. Diddy gets found, well, this is why victims don't speak up. But who's to say they didn't get it right and that he wasn't and that people were just not jealous? Yeah. We don't know. Nobody but him and God knows what truly went down.
And the victim.
If
there was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at Tucker for the Ravens. The dude had massages, and all of a sudden these girls are like, he was touching me inappropriate, and he asked for sexual advances and all this stuff. It's like, what the shit? Yeah, Kobe in the hotel room. Yeah. We don't know, but you see somebody who's rich and famous, somebody like now, even celebrities, gotta love Keanu Reeves, won't even go put his arm around. He puts his hands in his pockets and steps away from anybody who wants to come take a picture with him. He pulls a Steven Seagal
doesn't even want them being like, oh, well, he touched me. Even though you see it's only on the shoulder, he doesn't want any of that. Because you never know in this day and age.
Yep, I watch your P's and Q's, especially if you got money.
And especially, it happened 20 years ago.
Right.
Oh, well, now you're a pedophile because you looked at somebody 20 years ago. Well, I was under 18, too.
Yeah. But your age doesn't. Your age changes. The other person doesn't.
Right? Like, it's just, some of it is so mind-boggling that the society we live in, that I could sue anybody I wanted to sue just because.
Just because.
And sometimes even win.
Even win.
Duh, I got handed a cup of hot coffee. You know it's gonna be hot. Oops, I spilled it on myself. I get to sue you now.
It's your fault.
You knew it was hot coffee. They don't give it to you cold unless you ask for it.
But they didn't tell me it was that hot.
Yeah, it's just...
So then they gotta put extreme hot. Well, what's extreme?
Darwinism. Survival of the fittest here, people.
Yeah, you sued for a stupid reason. Here's a bullet.
Like, they don't even know why some of it sees the light of day. Like, where's the people... Oh, because money. You can't have somebody in charge of looking at these lawsuits before they waste the court's time. Like, they need to be having somebody looking at these things.
How about the lady I told you about the other day that she felt like the dude pulled out? No, that's what it was. It wasn't that one. It was the one, the kid in the back seat had like a water weenie, squirted it out the window and got the front windshield of her car wet.
Oh yeah, because she was driving by and
so she opened fire on the car.
Yeah.
From the inside of the car. She opened fire on the car in front. And then crashed because they got in a high-speed thing. She crashed and injured herself, so then sued the other family for $1 million. How the fuck is that even something that's legit in any way? How does that even get to a court? That's wasting court like time and money for somebody that's actually legit. It's insane to me that people could do stuff like that. Or we heard when we were in college about the burglar that crashed through the skylight and landed on the table where the butcher knife was and cut his leg and sued the lady.
Yep.
for having an open knife on a counter. Like, are you fucking joking? You fell through her
Yeah,
skylight.
I think there was something with the skylight that it was installed improperly or something. They used a loophole. Well, yeah, you wouldn't have even noticed because
you don't belong there.
Walking on the roof.
You don't belong there. It's not a public thoroughway.
If you're breaking a law, you shouldn't be allowed to sue.
It's
a bank robber sues because the dye packet blows up in his face and now he's stained blue. So now he sues for millions because he can't go anywhere because he's stained blue. It's
like suing a tattoo parlor because the tattoo you got was in the wrong place and they don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
so you got fired.
It was a millimeter off. You know?
No, you get fired because you're a tattoo, so you sue the tattoo parlor for giving you the tattoo. Like, I'm sure that'll come up at some point in time. We saw the one the other day about the dude that tattooed the radio station on his forehead, and then sued and succeeded, suing him for like $500,000 because they on radio they jokingly said, "Man, we'll pay, we'll give somebody $500
$100,000.
$100,000 if they tattoo our radio station on their forehead." And some dude actually fucking did it.
Yep. And there's that guy that just raised over $50,000. Well, I'm a single dad now, and I got tattoos on my face and my neck, and it was back from my own gang life. GoFundMe. They raised over $50,000 for him to get his tattoos removed. Because you were a stupid kid? Yeah, I get you were irresponsible. But there's makeup to cover that up. Put makeup on it, cover it up when you go to work. And heaven forbid
you actually sit down in an interview and explain these things and prove it to them.
Right? And what are you going for, like a newscaster job? You
might laser. That's the next lawsuit. Is the person that does the LASIK doesn't remove it clearly enough,
right?
So you can still see some left scars. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to our ramble about nothing after it was supposed to start MSF. This tub was hot, and I think so was the conversation. I know wife is, so we gotta cool this down and get inside so we can start talking about that 50 Shades of Grey thing again. But anyways, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave comments. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we said wrong.
Maybe tell us what your pet peeve is with the game right now.
Yeah, or tell us some cool or craziest fucking lawsuit you've ever heard of. Right. That'd be kind of a fun one too. But anyways, like I said, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Viz.
I'm Sable.
Peace.